We've heard two wonderful talks so far, and we have two more to go. And now we're going to turn to the student body to give us some thoughts and some reflections of their time here. And the class has picked the two people who will come up and deliver some remarks for us. The first is Amy Tan. Amy, indeed. Amy is, of course, a Maud student. She won last year the Rubin Prize in International Law. She was one of the tri-recipients of the Leo Gross Prize, as those who were here yesterday heard. She's been a teaching assistant for Carolyn Gideon and for Michael Glennon. She has been the president of the Fletcher Human Rights Project, an editor at our Journal of Human Rights Praxis, and very close to my heart, she's been a volunteer for 7 years for Amnesty International, an organization I worked with a great deal in previous years. She is in every sense an exemplar of what this class is all about. Amy, please join us up here and give us a few thoughts. And by the way, in case you're wondering what someone that smart is doing next, she's headed to NYU Law School in the fall. Amy.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Fletcher. And thank you, Dean Stavridis, for that very kind introduction. I'd like to start off by thanking my fellow Fletcher students, the Fletcher faculty and staff, and all of our friends and family. Without your continuous support, love, and provision of caffeine, I know that I would not be standing up here today. You are, simply put, the best, and we owe you a great deal. I'd also like to add a special thank you to Dean Stavridis and Dean Johnstone, who in many ways are graduating right alongside the class of 2014 from their inaugural years as deans. Thank you for your bold leadership and enthusiasm for casting Fletcher's net far and wide. It took a lot for us to get here today. We descended upon Medford from all over the world, and though many of us started this journey in the same way by stalking the admissions blog, once we got here, we found our own unique path through the maze that is the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. These 2 years have been incredibly special for me, and today I have the honor of sharing with you what they have meant. In short, Fletcher asks the right questions, and Fletcher wants you to win in whatever way matters to you. I remember the first time I walked through the Hall of Flags, feeling completely awed by the intelligence, passion, and enthusiasm for asking questions surrounding me. Within my first week, for instance, another classmate and I, who shared Professor Michael Glennon as a first-year academic advisor, timidly stepped into his office to introduce ourselves. Before I knew it, I had become witness to a ping-pong match between the two of them as they negotiated the merits of the International Court of Justice's opinion in the Nicaragua case. And here is a confession. I had absolutely no idea what they were talking about. My feelings of awe were accompanied thus by feeling like an imposter, because who was I to be asking these questions about international law and conflict resolution when I so clearly had none of the answers? Turns out, however, that many of my fellow classmates were asking themselves that same exact question. And this led to the humbling realization that at Fletcher, we do not just ask questions about what we will do, but also about who we are and the limitations that we must overcome. That inquisitive culture was everywhere, at events with world leaders, during classroom discussions, and over study group dinners, where, rest assured, we discussed the Nicaragua case at length. And even if the questions were uncomfortable or impossible to answer, we asked them anyway. How do you balance the demands of peace and justice? How do you encourage responsible corporate growth? How do men and women think about creating a happy family while still pursuing a career that they feel that they can be proud of? How do we confront the paradox of trying to have it all without sacrificing that which is most important to us? When the going got tough, we always had the socialist. Our student email listserv where we asked for everything from the sublime to the mundane. The implications of the latest election result, where you could find 2 tablespoons of nutmeg powder and sriracha, and who would offer a ride to New York City in exchange for cookies and a hug. When we did not like the answers to our questions, we also did not hesitate to ask for change. Dissatisfied with the results of a gender analysis of Fletcher, demand accountability and evolution. Desire more opportunities for experiential learning. Build your own. Want our student cover band, Los Flecheros, to play a song by Oasis? Start a revolution. We overcame hurdles and our limitations by asking questions together and finding the answers together, and we found yet another truth. At Fletcher, we value shared success. In an environment that encourages collaboration above all else, we are there with you for the small, everyday wins, like getting through that roll of force final, or having your GIF accepted to our blog, What Should a Bart Call Me? And we are there with you for the large, life-changing ones, like welcoming a child into the world, launching your own nonprofit, starting an apparel line, winning the Tufts D Prize, or touring with your band through Europe and Russia. This environment cultivates a deep sense of belonging, and this propels us to be as extraordinary as the people that believe in us think we are. But we are also there for each other through the losses, like when our MIBs lost the annual kickball tournament to the class of 2015. We still love you guys. Because at Fletcher, we are not afraid of a little bit of brokenness. In fact, we will carry you and your broken ankle over the ice and snow through that perpetual winter, just so that you can make it to your study group meeting on time. Because here, it is impossible to be invisible. After we leave today, we will be entering a world where hugs and a cookie do not count as currency. We will transform once again, and we may feel like outsiders because of the privilege of our degrees or the choice of our vocation. We will fall in love with different institutions, different people, and new ideas. But we will step into that world together, and this love will remain. Remember to keep asking the questions about yourself, who you are, what you want to be, and what you want to do. Remember to share your kindness and your success with those around you. And most importantly, remember that we think you are extraordinary. I want to leave you with the following thoughts. In 1958, John Steinbeck wrote a letter to his son containing some of the best advice on life and love that I have ever come across. Perhaps it is even more appropriate now, in a world that moves so fast. Sometimes we feel we cannot hold on to ourselves, let alone each other. He writes, "Do not worry about losing. If it is right, it happens. The most important thing is not to hurry, because nothing good gets away." And Fletcher, never forget, home is wherever we find each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really proud of you. Fabulous. How great is that? Well, having listened to that, I will now introduce the most nervous man in the tent who gets to follow Amy, and that would be Bob Lynch. Bob is a political systems guy. He has worked on international monetary theory, and I love his list of I'm a member of the following: the Political Forum, the Euro Club, the Americana Society, the Fletcher Runners, and above all, Fletcher Fermentation. Also well known as the MC of Fletcher Follies, Bob Lynch. Come on up here. talking to him.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Stavridis, for the warm welcome. I think only you could make my resume sound so impressive. Thank you to the Fletcher faculty and staff for all the work you do for us over the past several years. It's been incredible to be a part of this institution, and you all make it what it is. To Fletcher friends and families, Fletcher moms and dads, my mom and my dad, they're right in the middle there. Thank you for your undying love and support for all of our crazy ideas. And to the class of 2014, thank you for this rare and distinguished honor to speak to you today. It is truly a blessing to not only speak to you, but on your behalf. In December of 1950, when William Faulkner was accepting the Nobel Prize for Literature, the world was a very different place than the one we live in today. Europe and Asia were rebuilding after the costliest conflict in all of human history. The Iron Curtain had been lowered, ushering in a bipolar era of international politics. Discrimination along the lines of race, ethnicity, religion, and gender were commonplace even in our most advanced societies. And the threat of nuclear annihilation was new, widespread, and real. When he was accepting his prize, Faulkner remarked on this, describing the great existential question of humankind that day as being nothing more than, when will I be blown up? But he rejected this idea. If I may paraphrase his remarks, he said, I refuse to accept the end of humankind. We will not merely endure, we will prevail. 63 and a half years later, and the fate of humanity has changed significantly, and for the better. Modern communication technologies have brought human communities closer together, giving public voices to the once unheard and misrepresented. Scientific advancements have allowed us to better understand our place in the universe, have cured seemingly incurable diseases, and provided much of humankind with lives of comfort and security. Increased democratization and liberalization have brought prosperity and stability to billions of people. Violence and warfare, while still very much a part of our human condition, are as rare as they've ever been in recorded history. This truly is an incredible time to be alive, to enjoy what our planet and its thousands of human communities have to offer. As we have for the entirety of our existence, even in the face of fatalism and worrying, humanity has endured, and humanity has prevailed. When speaking to the Nobel banquet in Stockholm, Faulkner remarked that we are capable of prevailing through crises, through our inexhaustible human spirit, a spirit capable of compassion, of humility, and of sacrifice. These are the traits which I've seen in this class every day that we've been together in ways that I could not have imagined. Take, for example, compassion. It's the fuel of our Fletcher community. Whether it be offering a shoulder for someone to lean on after one of Professor Jacques' corporate finance finals, or someone devoting themselves to studying development economics or humanitarian assistance. It could be students spending their summers studying child labor in Nepal or raising money to benefit a local NGO. It's not the New England weather or the Medford nightlife that brought us here. See? But rather, it's our compassion for humankind and the unwavering optimism that things can be better that moved us to this institution. With this compassion comes humility, the ability to understand that your reality is not someone else's reality, to know that your worldviews are shaped by circumstances beyond your control, and to admit in the face of difficult questions that you don't know. The issues we study, human security, international economics, law, development, they require thinkers and practitioners capable of understanding multiple perspectives and offering analyses and decisions free from prejudice or biases. Without humility and its inherent curiosity, we would not be the question-asking, problem-solving idealists that we fashion ourselves to be. And then there's the willingness to sacrifice that equips us to take risks necessary to guarantee the continued success of humankind. We at Fletcher have made a whole manner of sacrifices, big and small. I'm not just talking about sacrificing your Friday nights in Ginn Library to ensure that you would be here today. That was me pretty much this entire second semester. I'm talking about taking a leap of faith to come here in the first place, to forego a career opportunity or another graduate institution, to pursue a passion or simply something new. Some of you have sacrificed significant capital and time to promote a startup or launch a small business. Many of you even have served or continue to serve your nation's armed forces, sacrificing not only your time and your energy, but your security to protect your friends, your families, and your homes. These capabilities of compassion, of humility, and of sacrifice are why so many of us will be in positions to make difficult decisions, to perform in the service of others, and to solve seemingly insolvable problems. Indeed, just as our predecessors were faced with a myriad of challenges over which they were able to prevail, we too are confronting an array of unforeseen obstacles to human progress in the 21st century. As Dr. Rajiv Shah mentioned to us yesterday, technology and development has brought billions of people worldwide out of poverty, but billions more still live with hunger, disease, and pain as daily realities. The world order of international institutions and norms that we've worked so hard to create is threatened by failed or failing governments and governance in places like Crimea, West Africa, and the Middle East. And the growing human population puts an ever-increasing strain on our planet's limited natural resources, asking us to wonder how, if we can't provide food, shelter, and security for 7 billion people, how can we do it for 8, 9, or 10? These challenges are prescient and they are real, but they are not insurmountable. They will take optimists, idealists, innovators, and thinkers working together to overcome, but they will not mark the end of mankind. You and those like you will be at the forefront of our future. I know this because I know Fletcher. I've seen Fletcher every day that we've been here. The capabilities of compassion, humility, and sacrifice that mark our inflappable and inexhaustible human spirit. It is the same spirit that time and time again ended doubt and doomsaying and created an unbroken thread that joins our future endeavors with our past successes. Class of 2014, I know that you, through your inexhaustible human spirit, when faced with the trials and tribulations of the real world and the problems that confront humankind today, that you too will not merely endure, you will prevail. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.